Hi, and welcome back to lesson 35 with participle and infinitive clauses. So, let's have a look at the formation of a participle clauses. Participle clauses, plural, not a. Participle clauses can be formed with the present participle or the ing form. And you can also use it in the past participle from the third form of the verb. Example. Oh, and depending on the phrase, it can have a passive meaning as well. Let's have a look. Shouting loudly, Peter walked home. This sounds like one of those children books, right? It's describing what happened to Peter. So in brackets you have Peter was shouting. Okay, so you're describing. So shouting loudly, Peter walked home. Example. Next one. Shouted loudly, Peter walked home. So you can either use ing, shouting, gerund, or you could use ed. Someone was shouting at Peter. Look at the difference. So, number one, shouting loudly, Peter walked home. It means that Peter was shouting. But shouted at loudly, Peter walked home. So shouted at means somebody else was shouting at Peter. Not Peter was shouting, someone shouted at Peter whilst he was walking home. Next, we have if we use to emphasize that one action was before another, then we can use the perfect participle. What is a perfect participle? Remember that perfect is have, has in the present and had in the past. Good. So here are some examples where we're using the past participle. Having won the match, Susan jumped, sorry, I need my glasses. Having won the match, Susan jumped for joy, with joy. Having been told the bad news, Susan sat down and cried. Oh, I'm sorry, Susan. I share. The meaning and use of participle clauses. So here, the participle clause is what they do. So it's about condition, reaction, result, and time. So here, for example, we have the condition. What's the condition? Oh my God, let's have a look what condition is. Example, looked after carefully. This coat will keep you warm through many winters. Compare. If you look after it carefully, this coat will keep you warm through many winters. Can you see? Looked after it carefully. Or if you're being direct, if you look after it carefully. You're using the if clause here. Result, which is a place of word like because or as a result of. Example, I had no time to read my book, having spent so long doing my homework. Comparing, I had no time to read my book because I had spent so long doing my homework. I'm not going to repeat this. You can go back and watch it again. Time is in place of words like when, while, as soon as. Infinitive is a verb phrase that can be used as a noun, adjective, or an adverb, and you can put it in the beginning. So for example, to, don't forget to, infinitive. To work hard, I had to get an to work, I had to get an interview with the manager or a boss. Example, the infinitive is to work. To and a verb which is in the same case as work. So to work. So to work I had, and then put comma. To work I had an interview with a manager or a boss. Okay. To be able to dance. Oh, be able to. This is good. And then we have the infinitive phrase as well, which is what modifies or complements a phrase. Example. Families should state their differences in order to get along. That's not always the case. Sometimes you state the differences and you still don't get along. Next lesson, on lesson 36, we're going to be looking at questions and question words. Now this should be very easy. Okay, we've looked at it in the basic, we had a look at it in some lessons before, in the intermediate, and we're going to have to look at it again, just so you know which one is which, where it goes where, and how you're going to use them. Alright, so see you soon on lesson 36.